This, on the face of it, is just a boat trip to an island off the coast of Ireland. However, there will be more to it than that. It's not the first time I have led my good friends Andy and Stephen into trouble. We endure a loss of engine power out at sea, which, true to form, will make Stephen laugh and Andy analyse before we finally banish the snakes from my fuel system and head out to an island which was St. Patrick's old home.
Not the first time Shackleton had the problem. She's still got petrol.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that posh, isn't it? So, do you want to go on an island or what?
I'll take your lead, skipper.
Yeah. He died over 1500 years ago, and nobody wrote about him until 2 centuries later, so certainty is not possible in his story. But to follow the legends that do survive surely is, and so we will. As usual, I will do my very best to take you along through every step, and this time especially I will try to take you inside the manoeuvres that got us there and back. This island is not easy to get into by boat, but we did, so come on then, let's go for a spin. Over the last few years, I've made it my mission to get much closer to the great outdoors. My pursuit of this has been in Ireland with overland camping and also canoeing. In this relatively populated and developed island, I have always found my eye drawn to the road less travelled, but it's sometimes hard to find that here. Hard to find that is until you get to the beach and view the horizon, and dotted on it are all those islands. I have addressed this video to an audience that is somewhere near where I was about a year ago, that being someone who is thinking about adventures beyond the beach and who is wondering how a small boat like this will cope. But I also want to get across exactly what a day like this feels like. I realise that on the busy little island of Ireland, the road less travelled may often not lie in overlanding alone, but also it may lie beyond the beach. That's when I decided to buy a boat. To add to my overlanding adventures, this is the beginning of what may become water's boat camping equivalent. First, I need to learn and perfect the methods of getting to the network of offshore islands we have here, and later on, maybe camping will regain its footing in our calendar, except by then on a broader horizon. I've said it before, but in my chosen modes of transport, I enjoy the potential they represent almost as much as the journey that they may deliver in a given day. Sitting in a place with your mind alive, not just because of where you are that day, but also because of where you could soon be, is a special part of these trips to me. You don't want to just fire up your experiences, but also fire up your imagination. We have something over 500 islands dotted along our beautiful shorelines, and while I don't intend to walk them all, I do intend to make a start on exploring them, along with any other hidden places that may catch our eye along that way. When I chose a 5.5 metre aluminium rib, one of the reasons was that I could launch and recover it myself. So I arrived well before the lads and was pretty pleased with how this launch went overall. With wind and tide from the east, it was easy to predict the way the boat would drift. All that remained was to float it off the bunks, and then the trailer would haul it back up the beach away from the concrete slip.
You know how these things work, they fall in the sea, they should inflate by themselves.
Yeah. I don't see us needing a jacket today, lads.
I'll put one on for the same day.
Am I being overly optimistic?
Yeah, overly optimistic, yeah. Push it off with the pedals so we've enough water to lower the engine.
Yep.
That's a big man.
I like your sticker. Rib shackles.
Had to be done, didn't it?
Brilliant.
Very ernst of you.
During a sea passage, tradition has it that there are no passengers. You must work your passage, as they say, and it's not a phrase that has stood the test of time, but here I am asking Andy to take a camera because I already know Stephen will be working on the wisecracks for us all.
Blue siren on the back of it. Have some cracks.
Believe it or not, even on this new boat, this was a familiar sound to me: fuel starvation. I retarded the throttle immediately to try to bring some cool down time for the engine, but I knew it would die. Last time, an out-of-sight fuel line had got pinched and caused a similar issue.
Guess we don't record this one. This is when Robin promised to bring us out with a boat, and then 2 clicks out he left us stranded and he had to go on the RNLI.
I do have an alternate fuel system. I'm just trying to figure out why. You see the bulb is soft.
Here, do you want to fire up while I pump it?
Go through a few things first. Fuel. I have spare fuel, but the fuel has leaked out of the tank.
Here, there you are then. Here, Robin, was it full when you pulled out there?
It was kind of 3/4 full after the last stage was out. What's the depth there?
4.7 litres. Don't be thinking about you think about paddling in.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just like while I'm solving this, if I'm drifting in the shore, I don't need to drop the anchor. If I'm drifting out, I do.
Well, I've got another tank here. That's what. Oh, you got that too.
Well, I have, yeah. I just need to get to it.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know what happened there. There's going to be some investigation into that.
that was an optional extra, was it?
Yeah, but who knew I needed some fluid?
Nice
Should we
machine.
try squeezing that bulb now, see?
Yeah. Oh yeah, very firm, perfect.
Isn't that adventurous?
We'd be more adventurous if you didn't have the second tank. we'd be out with the fucking oars rolling like people possessed. She'd be leaving a shimmer on the water if she was leaking out the engine though.
Oh, that's 20 litres for the hour now. And I have another one. But that's just the way I am.
You've got your fail safe for your fail safe.
Redundancy for the redundancy.
Yeah. It's a pity Boeing didn't build them like that.
I had a backup fuel system fitted, but ironically, this backup had a part to play in this failure. The lesson learned here is dip your tank at the time of launch. 2 days before is no good. After much thought, I did figure out where my main tank fuel had gone. It had siphoned through to the reserve tank because I left that both primed and connected. From there, it first filled the tank and then slowly dripped from the air bleed at a rate slow enough to evaporate and go unnoticed. In rereading the engine manual, I realised that similar siphon losses can occur through the engine itself also. So as I say, my lesson, dip the fuel at the time of launch. We're going to land on St. Patrick's Island, a mile or so off the east coast of the town of Skerries in Ireland. St. Patrick's Island is circled by rocks, but there beneath the old church you can see a sandy channel which, although narrow, is the only access for a boat like this. I would suspect that at some time over the last couple of thousand years this channel was probably cut here for this purpose. This is no place for propellers. My intention is to use a bow anchor dropped offshore and paddle stern first up this channel and then lay out a kedge anchor buried on the beach to hold my boat safely in this channel during the rising tide.
Can you be ready with the anchor line?
Yeah.
When I say just not to let it out anymore, okay? going to pull against it just to straighten the line, okay?
Let a bit more out or hold her?
Hold it, yeah. I'm trying to straighten the anchor line out so that it will pull us out again. All right. We're here.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah, we did it. We did it. We didn't break anything. I'm going to hold this anchor up the beach and I'm just going to bury that grappling hook.
Definitely getting wet. Hello. You big fella. That's not no fear. Hello there.
What's that?
I could think of worse ways to spend a Friday.
No, you couldn't, yeah. This is every bit of what I hope it would be.
Oh, not too early. I got up at 7.
But it's a good looking tune.
If you're a regular here, you know the drill. If it's to be one coffee a day, better make it a good one. This one sure was. If you go to hell and back and find the people who will not only stay with you in defence but also stick together with you in advance, how do you thank those people? Sometimes you go to places that you think will break you, but yet they make you. I've been to these places with these two, and none of us were broken or beaten. We earned our own future in bitter endurance and grit. These trips are not made in gratitude to the altar of an invisible man. They are made in gratitude to the visible heroes I have the honour to know. Together in bad times we won the good days, and these are the good old days. Is it?
Barbecue with the family or something on one of these yet?
Oh no, but that's all. These are all the way forward, you know. All these things are sort of got to be done, and the tide is right. You come out here in the morning, you have that place to yourself, and you're right next to Dublin, you know.
Oh, forget about the right next to Dublin piece. I could happily lose that piece of it.
Yeah, but you get, like, that's the point, isn't it? We're losing that piece. In 1148 a synod was convened on this island. 15 bishops and over 200 priests and many other clergy attended with the intention of reforming the Irish Church. The synod is recorded in the continuation of the Annals of the Four Masters and the Annals of Inishfallen. St. Patrick is a legendary figure today, famous for deeds such as the mythical driving of the snakes out of Ireland and using a shamrock to illustrate the Holy Trinity to the pagan king. But who was Patrick really? Our earliest sources about St. Patrick come from the medieval biographies written centuries after his death. Scholarship tells us Patrick was an early medieval Christian living in West Britain who was captured and enslaved by Irish raiders. It is thought he was made to work as an animal herder for several years in Northern Ireland, where he learned Gaelic. He later escaped and travelled to Gaul, which is modern France, where he studied in a monastery. And after returning to Ireland, he gained fame for his missionary work, and it is from this work that the stories of snakes and shamrocks spring forth. He was supposed to have died in 461 AD on March 17th, which is why he is celebrated annually on that date. Upon his return to Ireland, Patrick was driven out of Wicklow and forced to sail up the east coast of Ireland, eventually landing here at Inishpatrick, or St. Patrick's Island in English. But did St. Patrick ever really come here?
Yeah.
The archaeological record tells us that a monastery was established on Inishpatrick, which Vikings raided in 798 AD. In 1120 AD, another monastery of St. Augustine was established on the island, which was in turn replaced in 1220 by a new church on the mainland. So what we can say for sure at the moment is that there is a long monastic tradition coupled with strong folkloric tradition about St. Patrick at Skerries and this island. When it came time to leave, I first slackened the bow anchor and hauled in on the kedge to get the boys aboard, and we then hauled out to safe depth to start the engine, with Annie and Steve using the paddles to keep off the rocky sides of this narrow cut. Yeah.
I'm just going to pull the anchor out the other way, and then we'll haul it out. Lines lying around a speedboat are a really bad idea because they end up in the prop, you know. They have a fabulous way of finding the prop somehow. I'd happened to be in New York Harbour once. I was launched off the Asgard, small little rib. I was motoring, launched, and then this big ferry came by, and the wake of it swamped the boat completely, you know. And of course the rope went out with it, and of course the first thing it did was wrap itself around the prop, so then I couldn't even get the the motor up because it was tied to the bow. And
did you actually dive in to clear it?
No, I had a knife, right? I had a knife, but it was in the emergency kit in the bow, right? And this Coast Guard, because it was a tall ships race event, you know, so this Coast Guard guy comes up and he goes, "You guys okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I see you have a knife on your belt, can I use it?" He goes, "I'm not putting my knife in that water." Thanks man, yeah, that's great. Listen, I'll go get my own while I'm swamped here in the middle of the Hudson. is done. We're drifting where we want to drift. Looking very good.
Every boat is a compromise because the potential demands are so broad in the ever-changing sea. Too deep a V in your hull makes a boat slower, less stable and more difficult on the beach, and too shallow a V shape and she will pound in a sea. This is a very wide angle lens, but the chop is most of a metre high, especially around the headlands. This boat does not knife through a sharp chop when into wind, but I did test it hard and it can keep going if you hang on. It probably lies where I thought the compromise would, and I'm okay with it. What we lose here, we win elsewhere. The other question I had about this hull was noise in this sea on an aluminium hull. The aluminium plate hull is noisy, but only when you drive it too hard. By the time the noise is a thing, you're hanging on for dear life, so at that, it's not a problem, just a warning.
It's a little bit funny.
This is a great little setup here.
Yeah. Quite limiting with the tide some days, you know, if it's low water or whatever, you know.
As I approach my home port, my challenges are these. It's too shallow to complete the manoeuvre with the engine down, and the wind from my right here has picked up. If I hit the concrete slip, I will damage the hull. To my advantage, the current is also from my right. Where wind and tide oppose, it can be harder to judge which will win as you approach the shore, and the slacker water is often paired with an accelerated coastal breeze. So today the boat just crabbed in, using both of these elements to push me to port with regular kicks of power to hold the angle to starboard. My new steering knob is my new best friend.
Your timing is immaculate. Nice one. We just leave it alongside there, I suppose, when I get the trailer. We went out to St. Patrick's Island, you know, the little church on it?
Yeah. You obviously found a place to board.
It's very difficult. There's just a narrow little beach coming in there, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a line of rocks.
Yeah, that's the way I went in, yeah. I saw it in Google Maps first, and that's how I took it from there.
There it is. That keeps the right job for it, isn't it?
So far.
You lived in there, suspension there.
Yeah. Make the trail end a bit lower, you know. I've gone in crooked because it means I'm not going across the current and all, you know. Just let it go long. Don't let it go just until you hear the engine start. Okay, I got it.
My trailer is quite long here. This presents a distinct advantage. You can park the trailer downwind and down tide, and in so doing, much reduce the difficulty of crabbing onto the trailer.
This is my way of saying thank you to you two.
Very enjoyable day. Great fun. I said Andy's buying one next week.